Alright, so today we have a brand new game called Echocalypse, and for this video, I'll be going over my top 5 tips for beginners to give you a head start in this game and help you make progress as efficiently as possible. This guide is going to be focused on the early game, specifically when it comes to the different mechanics and important systems that you need to be aware of to make sure that you're getting the most out of your team. But before that, I do want to mention that this video is sponsored by Echocalypse. Echocalypse is an RPG strategy game where you can collect different Kimono Girl cases and come up with different strategies with them. On top of the different characters, you can also use different items to enhance your team's performance in combat, so you can really mess around with different combinations that are going to suit your team. They're the reason why I was able to get early access to this game, so I'm very thankful for that. And I'm also thankful because they're giving us a special code that you can redeem once you get into the game. And speaking of, I actually have a special link in the description below where you can download and experience Echocalypse today, so definitely make sure to check that out after or even before you keep watching this video. So starting off with the first one, it's going to be about the linking system in this game. Basically how this works is that you can link different characters together to give them additional stats like HP, attack, and resistance. Every single character is going to have a unique set of characters that can actually be linked to them. So you need to have those characters in your team in order to gain additional stats. For most cases, you're only going to need 2 characters to get the bonus, but for the other ones, you actually need 3. So it can be harder for some characters to get the specific link bonuses that they want. After you put those characters together in the same team, all of the characters that are linked together are going to get the same additional stats. And aside from linking your characters by putting them in your active team, you can also assign them as an assist, and that is also going to count towards your link system. You're going to be able to assign more assist characters as you progress into the game, but at the beginning, you're only going to have a few slots, so it's important to know which characters to assign. Generally speaking, you would want the assist menu to be full of characters that have multiple links in your team, or the weaker characters that are linked to your damage dealer. It's very important to get links for your main damage dealers, specifically the links that give them additional attack. The linking system is definitely one of the main mechanics that you need to take advantage of because you are going to get a ton of additional stats just by setting up the right characters in your team. On a side note, we do have something called the leader buff, which is basically a mechanic that is going to give you more bonuses if you are using more characters in the same faction. This is not going to be relevant early on because you're only going to have a few characters. But I figured that I'd mention this because this is something that you might find useful later into the game. So moving on from that, my other advice is that you should not be hesitant to spend your leveling materials on your characters. One of the many things that I like about this game is that their leveling system is going to make it so that you don't have to upgrade every single character in your roster. So basically what happens is that you're actually not leveling up the character itself, but instead, you are leveling up the character slot that you have. So for example, you level up your second character from the top. Whenever you swap out the character in the same spot, the new character taking that spot is going to have the same level as the other character before. This is going to be really good, and this is going to simplify your upgrade process, but I do want to mention a few things so that you can fully utilize this mechanic. So knowing that each individual spot is going to give the occupying character a specific level, I would recommend that you level up these slots in a certain way. For my case, I'm reserving the one at the very top for the best damage dealer in my team. This one is going to have the most levels because your main priority is always going to be your main DPS. As for my number 2, 3, and 4 spots, I'm leveling this up only a little bit behind my main damage dealer, because the characters that I'm looking to place on this are the other damage dealers in my team and also the tank unit that I'm going to use. And for the last 2, this is where my support characters are going to be placed. From what I found during the early access, you honestly don't need a lot of investment in your support characters, or at least not as much as your main damage dealers. If you feel like you need to improve their stats, then giving your support characters decent gear and going for at least a single link is going to be more than enough, especially early on. On a side note, yes, now you know that levels are going to be transferred to whichever character you replace them with, but another thing to keep in mind is that your character's combat gear is also going to be transferred to the other character. This is why I'm designating specific roles for different slots, because it's going to be a lot easier managing their combat gear if I know that my main DPS combat gear is on the number 1 slot, my other damage focused gear on number 2, and so on and so forth. Moving on, my next tip is to push the main story as much as possible, especially at the beginning. This might be obvious for some people, but pushing the campaign early on is going to be very important for many reasons. If your beginner experience is anything like mine, your stamina is going to be beyond capped at the beginning of the game. This is because you're getting a bunch of rewards, so you are also going to get a bunch of stamina from that. You are going to have hundreds of stamina, and for each level in the main story, you are going to burn 5 stamina. Also keep in mind that when you are trying to beat as many levels as you can, you don't have to stress about getting a full clear or 3 stars because you can always go back whenever you have better upgrades in your team. Pushing the main story is going to let you access more content like the cage fight, expedition, and more. But the main thing that I know a lot of you are going to be excited about is the selected draw where you can pull 20 times, and after you beat chapter 7, you're going to be able to choose a single 10 pull out of the 20 attempts that you did. This is going to be the easiest way for you to get a new SSR, especially early on. And the good thing is that this is actually a permanent banner, and you can get more 10 pulls from this after you beat certain milestones in the main story. So moving on, this is probably the most important tip in this video, and that is to have fun playing this game. Most people are going to be caught up with the meta, and they are going to be very focused on optimizing every single thing. But coming from an anime guy like myself, and a very cultured one at that, the biggest selling point, and the main reason why I'm even trying out this game in the first place, is because of the fantastic character designs. Each character has their own unique style, and they are not afraid of going above and beyond when it comes to how the characters look. Not to mention that the character skins actually look insane. We are even getting a free skin for Fenrir, and I can assure you that a lot of people are going to be Fenrir mains after they see that skin. With that being said, I have really been enjoying this game during my time in the early access, and so I will definitely be playing this game even more after it gets released. If you have come this far into this video, then all I can say is much love, and also don't forget to claim my gift code vipsmedium, and if you haven't tried Echocalypse yet, then definitely check out my link in the description so that you can start playing the game today. And as always, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.